Hey guys, this is the Kryptonite Council podcast, episode 13, Martian Manhunter edition. And Rio is here, and so is M2Dave. And this is just a special on the call episode to discuss a lot of inaccuracies about Martian Manhunter. So, Dave, take it away.
Well, before we get into the bad matchups, into general strategies, I want to ask you, what do you think is the biggest misconception about Martian Manhunter the way you see it?
People really need to stop talking about and saying how he's the Cabal of the game. I don't know where that was taken from. I know when I made that thread, numerous people came in and were like, oh, it's Cabal all over again, this and that. But people fail to realize there's one golden rule you have to have if you're going to be considered the Cabal of any game. You can't have any even or losing matchups. It's as simple as that. If you have one even matchup, just as Martian Manhunter has, he's not the Cabal of the game, so that really needs to go.
So you're just saying the fact that people think he's Cabal. I agree with you. I don't know where that came from, where people got that from.
I've seen that everywhere. I mean, I know PL says it on Twitter, and I think I've heard Pig say it a few times. And there's like 100 other people on TOM that just go around and say that in streams and whatnot, and on forums and posts. Some of them seem like they're being serious with it because they really think this character is going to dominate everyone, but it's not really like that. Cabal is a whole other animal.
Okay, Pig, you want to address that? Did you say that?
Yeah, actually, I was going to jump in and say, when you said, I don't know where this started, I was going to say, I think it started right here. So, like the Kryptonite Council and, I know I posted that, but...
I heard you said it recently, right? In the most recent one?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. People were saying that before. When I made that thread 2 weeks ago, and people were in the thread saying, oh, it's Cabal all over again. So you weren't the first one to do it, but I guess you could say you were one of the more notable players to say it first.
Yeah, I think he's definitely top in the game, maybe top 2. I think he's top. But I also think there's universal ways to deal with some of his tools. I've been telling people about dashing under the overhead teleport, getting cleaned up.
I don't think that's not viable. Trust me.
It is viable.
You can't do that on reaction.
It is for some characters. I really think it is.
No,
Zod
actually, this is where
I did.
Hold on 1 second.
Consistently online. If Pig can do that online,
but
more than half the time,
are you doing the instant aerial version? Are you doing the instant aerial version? This is where Black Fellow actually has a point. If you do the instant aerial version, you cannot do a reaction.
All right, you have to anticipate.
I was just testing in Master D. It doesn't work.
You have to anticipate it.
Exactly, you have to anticipate it. But that leaves you open for other stuff. That's the point.
That's true, but I mean, it's better than sitting there and blocking a million overhead teleports.
Yeah,
it is better. But
what it does is this. I mean, first of all, it is viable because I did it for 3 hours against Rebello, who we all in this call know has one of the worst connections. If I can do it against Rebello, I was smiling, going, "This might actually be easier offline." Like if I can do it on his connection, but it's viable. Here's what the deal is. I think I described in the last episode. Martian Manhunter, he's kind of like a bully to a lot of characters, and you have to that's what I did. I compared him to Cabal, how he's a bully. How Cabal, you just have to punch him in the mouth first.
So you weren't comparing him as the fact that he's Cabal, as in he runs train through every character in the game, and it's just.
I was comparing him to Cabal because I think he's number 1 and he dominates, some people in the cast.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say Cabal and Martian Manhunter share together is, they're probably both number 1 in their both respective games.
Yeah, and I also feel like with the characters I play, I feel like I've got to hit him first. I got to remove his momentum out the door as quickly as possible because he's going to get it back. But if I've got a health lead, then I still feel like I've got some room for error. But anyway, I mean, what I was saying against Martian Manhunter, you've got to show that you can dash under overhead teleports because then the Martian Manhunter player slows down his game because he's thinking, oh wow, I mean, if I teleport overhead, he might dash under it, he might meter burn back through it, or he might do nothing, which is actually even scarier because if he starts anticipating the meter burn back 3 and the dash under crap, then he might say, well, I'm just going to do the normal teleport. Well, that's hella punishable. So if I show him I also have the ability to just sit there and be calm and do nothing and punish those, then the metagame has evolved and it becomes this massive it becomes a lot more respectful.
And
But
let's face it, when you're playing against Martian Manhunter, he's going to be using the overhead teleport constantly. Like we're talking probably 50 times per round. So you might as well gamble a few times and try and forward that shit.
yeah,
I mean, unless you're up against a certain character like Superman or Lex, who they have easy punishes, which lead to some serious things. But
yeah,
aside from, very select few characters, you're going to have to deal with that constant overhead
yeah,
teleport.
yeah. And
I just don't think like I think Rio, you said it best. It's something, but it's not the answer.
No, I wasn't saying
I
it's
don't,
answer
yeah,
something people need to
exactly, yeah,
consider.
and I agree with you.
But it's
I
also
just
character specific. Like I don't see a character
yeah,
like Green Lantern doing that.
hell no.
You would
Some
probably
can't
get
do it.
crossed up and then comboed, which would
well,
make things worse.
you probably don't want to spend that teleport against him too much anyway, because he probably gets a free check, with back one, and
I
then
know
you got.
Flash is another character who can do it easily.
Well, he can even just punish it. I don't know. I
Black
don't.
I'm telling people answers and tips. Like for example, if you play Flash, Martian Manhunter's got to play a completely different style to play against that character because you can't just throw overhead teleports. He's got more options than most. I think Lex has more options than most versus the character.
These are like characters that he doesn't even need to teleport on unless he, you know,
That is true. That's why when you
like
see
I'm not like
certain
I'm
Martian
talking about
Manhunter
characters.
players,
I'm talking about characters like Sinestro, Zod, Cyborg, characters who like usually have very weak meter and back 3 damage. Well, Sinestro I guess gets the vortex, but I don't know. I just feel like that move is just so frustrating to deal with. Maybe it's just like because of the character that I use, but I don't know. Like
no,
I don't
it
want this.
is frustrating to
I
deal
don't.
with.
Yeah, I just like I don't want this episode to concentrate like on the complaining, but I
Maybe we
just don't
should
understand.
maybe we should restart then.
No,
No,
we shouldn't.
no, keep going.
No. Here's the thing though. That I don't understand. Like, if NRS wants to balance game, I don't know why they would add such a stupid move in the game. That's like that move is basically what the meter burn version should have been like. That's like Flash having back forward 2 meter burn as a regular.
I agree. It should have been his meter burn version.
So
I
I don't,
honestly thought it
and
was going to get nerfed.
he still will be a top 5 character. The only thing that would change is that it would teach Martian Manhunter players to use the other version occasionally, on read, just like Sector, just like the way it was Sector, but instead you can just beat it, overhead teleport, or there's almost no risk in certain matchups. You can just do it. There's nothing that you can't get punished, especially when the other guy doesn't have any meter. I mean, and if you fight I fought Rio for like, I don't know how many games did we play, like 30, and
Probably.
every time the second round starts, you had full meter. Every time, almost every time. I just don't understand that.
Well, I mean,
That's the meter that should have been used on the meter and teleport in the first place. But I don't know.
There's so many ways he can build meter. I mean, he has orbs. He's building meter from chipping with the overhead teleport. He's, his traits into his push, his ground blast. He's got so many things that build a meter. So that's why when you're up against a Martian Manhunter, he's going to usually have more meter than you. Because you're going to be the one sitting there letting him do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, I know. I agree. Well, let's talk about if you want to talk about some of his matchups. I know you recently posted a matchup chart on Test Your Might that all the characters had all the matchup numbers. Who do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, we have people actually underrate the amount of Martian Manhunter players we have. There's a lot of people that play Martian Manhunter. I know we have Rebello, we have PL who also plays him, we have MIT on the West, and you have people like Ormacchio, Luzlu, and Pekapawa over in Northeast, and then you have players like Hayes Jupiter who are doing pretty well with him now. And then you also recently have players like Jeremiah who are coming back to the game, and they're using Martian Manhunter. I saw that he actually made it to Grand Finals the other week using the character, and he just came back to the game. And then on top of all that, you also have players in the shadow that are really good with the character, like Crazy Dominican, who's probably going to make some noise at NEC. And then with all that said, like that's already a ton of players right off the top of my head. You have more players picking him up. Like I'm sure I heard Forever King is picking up Martian Manhunter.
That's correct.
I know
yes.
you, Dave, are also picking up Martian Manhunter, and there's a lot more people. Like this character's quickly becoming one of the most played characters or go-to characters for a tournament setting, and it's because it's pretty easy to see people want to win, and what's going to give them the best chance to win? I would have to say would be Martian Manhunter. He's easy to use in a tournament setting. He's incredibly safe. He has mobility. He can shut down zoning. He dictates almost all of his matchups. There's no reason why you would not want to play this character if you're going to, you know,
Travel to a major and want to win something.
But here's what bothers me, though. Here's what bothers me. I'm beating a player who's probably a better player than I am, who has put 6 or 7 months of work into his character, and I'm beating him with my 1 week Martian Manhunter. I mean, this
You
stuff
want
like
to know
that just.
why? That's because the character's fucking stupid. If
I
you
know,
were to
but that
bring
just.
anyone, if NRS was to hire someone right now and be like, "Hey, can you test this character for me right now? Can you tell me if he's fair or not?" If you were to go to the person and be like, "Yeah, Martian Manhunter is fair. He's fine. He's totally fine. He has a couple 5/5s. Leave him be." They'd probably be like, "Pack your bags, get the fuck out," because you don't know how to balance a character. He's bullshit. Anyone can see it.
I know, but this is like almost like extreme,
I
because
know,
you're talking about
well,
like.
especially for zoning characters. They have characters like Cyborg, Sinestro, and then you have other characters like Green Arrow, which just are not that good up close, and then they just cannot do anything from mid to full screen away. They get completely dominated.
So those are the characters he dominates the most, in your opinion, right?
Very, very bad. I don't even know if it's possible for. I mean,
I saw in your matchup chat you had Cyborg
Cyborg is just
losing
it's
to
pointless.
A2.
It may even become worse in the future because I'm getting a lot better with interactable setups and a lot of stage specific shit, which is making Martian Manhunter an even deadlier in a lot of situations.
What about so if Cyborg is the worst, who would be up next? Maybe Sinestro or somebody like
Probably Green
that?
Arrow. I would say Green Arrow,
Green
right
Arrow.
after Cyborg. They're
Okay.
both pretty much A2.
They're both A2.
Yeah.
What about Zod? Because you played Pig, you
I
played
feel like
me.
Zod right now is a 7-3 because of how ridiculous. Because it's kind of not fair because the matchup Martian Manhunter versus Zod, I feel like I just get to do whatever I want, and you're the one that has to adapt and go through all this difficult training, play on point, just to make the match seem like a 6-4. I would say at the absolute best, it could end up becoming a 6-4 Martian Manhunter's favor, but I could also see why any Zod player could think it's 7-3.
Well, the thing is, after meter bag 3, Zod only does like 35%.
Sometimes I just eat the meter run back through on purpose just to get.
Yeah, just to get meter. But the thing is, there's a better combo that does 50%, but it's very, very difficult to do. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm not going to be hitting that combo tonight 10 times. And if I can't hit it tonight 10 times, you'll never see me attempt it in tournament.
but that's what I'm, but that's the combo that would discourage the Martian Manhunter player from just spamming. If you could land 50%, even if it's 8 out of 10 times, I would do it. But but unless you can land that combo, why should he respect your 35%? You know what I mean?
Well,
He
I mean,
gets more than that.
well, I think the way I look at it is if I get 35%, I also end the combo with a trait summon, and then I try to rush him down and go for 50/50s.
Okay, but actually he can punish the. I've noticed that he can punish the. If you do meter burn, Phantom Strike, and you activate trait,
Oh, I don't
you
do
can
that.
actually you can actually get punished by that. He can actually do the full screen pillar,
Mhm.
which actually punishes Zod. And Rio
Yeah.
was doing it, and that was Rebello.
I mean, like, you have to try it sometimes, but, like, the main thing I was doing was hitting with meter burn gun and then going for it.
Okay.
Or, like I said, hit, like a meter burn back 3 combo and then just ending the combo with him juggled in the air 4-2-1-3 trait summon and then go in.
Yeah, I think in that matchup, I prefer to zone, but in that matchup, when you have trade, you pretty much gotta go in. I mean, you can't do full screen mix-ups like you usually would, because he can just teleport on you.
I mean, I'm constantly looking for ways to, lessen Martian Manhunter's options, like off teleport, like when I block it and do nothing. Like, like a lot of Martian Manhunters, like day one, and I mean, hell, it still works. I mean, I think Rio does it too. when you do overhead teleport and we block it and then do meter burn back 3.
Yes.
All right, so Zod can't jump it. He can't jump over it. He gets hit by the last little tidbit of it, which doesn't hurt, doesn't launch, but he still gets hit. It's weird. I can dash back, of course. I could do meter burn gun, and it stops, and I'm getting like plus 25. And he's right in front of me, so I'll summon trait and then go in. But I found something else you can start doing. I think any characters with parries, what you can do is you can do dash in, standing 2 parry. Like you get like basically, if you think he's going to do meter burn back 3, you could just dash in and do standing 2 parry or down 1 parry or standing 1 parry. It's actually best to do down 1 parry because it's 7 frame mid, and it what it does is the armor will absorb the normal, obviously, and then but it perfectly times the parry to hit the back 3. So you get 14. I think it's like 12 or 14%.
Can't you just walk back to him? You know, let's say you block the overhead teleport and you just hold back. Isn't his meter burn back 3 gonna whiff? Then you can get a full you can get a full combo punish then that way.
It might, but either way, sometimes on overhead tele when he does that, I want to go in. I want to show him. I just want to show him. I'm gonna run into his face. Like
okay.
I want to try to become the aggressor at that point. Sometimes now I know he can do down 2 traded up, and his down 2 will beat that option. But I could, like I said, I could just sit there and do nothing. If he does down 2, I could blow it up with a Phantom Strike. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not an advantage situation for Zod.
Well,
but I'm trying to create. I'm just in the ballpark trying to create more thinking options that will make the Martian Manhunter go, oh, well, he might do this, or this. You know, you got to get some kind of doubt.
Yeah, I agree with you. The post teleport, game, as Tom calls it, the post teleport metagame is very important. If you have a bad one, you have a lot of issues. If you don't have a move that's going to reach him. I mean, Zod at least has the palm. He can do he can meter burn through it, but it catches everything, catches backdash, jump, which is solid. But even with that, the matchup is difficult, which says a lot actually. so we have Rio, we have Cyborg, Sinestro, Zod, probably all.
Do you want me to run down his matchups?
Well, let's talk about it this way. So Zod, all 7. I see you have Hogger, 7/3. Joker, so pretty much Ares, so pretty much, like most low tiers, in addition to Zod, Sinestro, and Cyborg is pretty bad. So all of those are 7/3. What about some of his tougher matchups though?
Tougher as in what, a 5/5?
Yeah, something like that. What you would consider like, what I actually have to play a little bit different, in this match. I have to work harder.
Well, you know what? How about I just run through some of his matchups?
All right, go ahead.
Because I feel like right now we're going randomly order left and right, and I don't want to leave out any characters.
All right, that's fine.
Okay, so for Nightwing, I have 6/4. I just feel in staff stance, it's really difficult for Nightwing to get anything going against Martian Manhunter, and he's gonna have to try and be in a Screamer. But the thing is, he's got a downside to both sides. If he's in staff stance, he has a better post option to deal with the overhead teleport. And if he's in a Scream, he can't really do anything after blocking an overhead teleport, but he can move a little bit more freely. But the problem here is, if he's in staff stance, it's hard for him to get past things like orbs, Martian Manhunter's trait, and if you're in Screama, it's easier for you to move around. However, when you do get in or get close, there's not much you can do. So that's why I have the match as a 6/4. It's just, it feels like I always have the edge with Martian Manhunter. Batman I have as a 5/5. I feel like Batman's bats are one of the few things in this game that can go as far as to even keep Martian Manhunter honest when he has his trait active. And usually when Martian Manhunter has his trait active, you become his bitch. You can't move, can't do anything. You just have to sit there and do nothing. But Batman's bats can do things like he can, let's say Martian Manhunter's going to do something like trait, and then he's abusing 3s or back 2s from out of range. Batman can release bats, dash in full combo, things like that. So Martian Manhunter can't go ham when he has trait out. Batman also has certain answers to some of Martian Manhunter's things like Wake Up. We all know Martian Manhunter is a really good Wake Up game. Batman, when Batman knocks down Martian Manhunter, he can do something like jump in, and if you read, the Martian Manhunter may go for a psychic push. You could do a double jump into a dive kick, full combo that. And then once the Martian Manhunter player starts, being like, okay, he may do a fake jump in and go for the dive kick, full combo me. I'm just gonna start not waking up with anything, and then you're gonna have to deal with Batman doing jump two, and then a bunch of pressure. I have Cyborg as A2. I already went. That's just. I mean, this match is pretty self-explanatory. Cyborg can't zone. When Cyborg can't zone, it's safe to say he loses. Green Arrow A2, pretty much same as Cyborg, except his offense is terrible. And he can't really do anything. Superman I have as a 5-5. But I could see this match becoming 6-4 in Martian Manhunter's favor in the future. Because here's the thing. People think right now, oh, it's simple 5-5 because, well, Martian Manhunter can't abuse his overhead teleport on Superman because Superman can punish it. Well, that doesn't matter because Martian Manhunter doesn't need to use that move on Superman. He can outzone Superman and outfootsie him with the use of trait and orbs and pillars. So Superman's the one that has to go to him anyway. So that's not a really good talking point as, your whole reason as to why the match is 5-5. I know, I mean, with trade on, I know Martian Manhunter was actually before Superman got patched. I think Martian Manhunter was the only character in the game who could outfootsie Superman when he had trade on. So that should say enough. Raven, I have 6-4 for Martian Manhunter. She can't do anything to him from full screen. She has to always stay in squeeze range. She can, however, punish his pillars on block with her push, but it doesn't matter because orbs are more than enough in this matchup, and that coupled with the spam of using overhead teleport and just a trait abuse, it pretty much overwhelms Raven. She ends up, I mean, she can't really build meter in the match because if you play a really good range game with Martian Manhunter and you stay mid-screen and you block her push, you can do things like punish with pillar, punish with instant air teleport, do things like punish trait 2-2 back 3. He just has a lot of things to cover, a lot of things on the match. So I feel that's 6-4 in Martian Manhunter's favor. Aquaman I had as 5-5, but I actually think this match is 6-4 in Martian Manhunter's favor. Because I believe Martian Manhunter completely dictates this match. I feel it's a lot easier for Martian Manhunter to get the life lead on Aquaman than it is for him. And for for Martian Manhunter to get the first hit, whether it be by a random overhead teleport or, ready begin, he does things like trait 3, orbs, and whatever. Once Martian Manhunter does have the life lead, it's big trouble for Aquaman because Aquaman getting in on Martian Manhunter is really tough. Because not only can Aquaman not stay full screen and try and spam Trident, because when you don't have the life lead on Martian Manhunter and your objective with Aquaman is to stay full screen and spam Tridents, Martian Manhunter can just block a Trident and reversal pillar, and he's pretty much going to win the chip war. So Aquaman's going to have to come in. And Martian Manhunter is also one of the few characters, if probably the only one, who can actually even anti-air Aquaman's jumping 2 with his ridiculous trait 3 or trait back 2 or instant air teleports. That'll just knock Aquaman out of the air. He also abuses Aquaman's weak wake-up game heavily with the orb block option select. So every time Aquaman's knocked down, Martian Manhunter can just come in and do whatever he wants in a war. He could put an orb, instant air, dash over him, and Aquaman just has to block constantly. And he also, most of the things Martian Manhunter does launches Aquaman, so he doesn't really have to deal with his trait because most of his punishes are with the low grab, which launches him. And a lot of times when when Aquaman gets hit by the overhead teleport, he can't use trait out of that. So 99% of the time when Aquaman's getting hit by Martian Manhunter, his trait's not going to save him.
Have you played Tom recently?
No, I haven't played him recently, but when I was playing him, when I was just learning the character around Summer Jam, we were going back and forth, and I wasn't even good with the character back then.
All right.
Wonder Woman I have as a 5-5, but on some stages it's in Martian Manhunter's favor because I don't know. I'm 50-50 with this matchup. I can totally see why it could be 5-5 because a lot of the tech found recently with Wonder Woman is really strong. I know she can do her down 3 sweep to go on the Martian Manhunter's push on Wake Up and then completely whiff punish it into her new Vortex knockdown setup where you have to just guess left, right, up, down. So she's gotten a lot better than she was a few months ago. But then again, at times, I can definitely see why Martian Manhunter could have the advantage because on a lot of stages with constant interactable flow, Martian Manhunter has a lot of ways to get those going on Wonder Woman because she has to when he has trade up, she can't really move in because she has to deal with trade 3, trade back 2. She can't even go in the air because that'll also knock her out. She has to deal with meterborne orbs keeping her away, and then that's when you can just start chucking a bunch of shit at her. So I would say on stages that have a lot of interactables, it's definitely in his favor, if anything. It pretty much comes down to the stage with this matchup. It could be 5-5 or 6-4. Zatanna, I have a 6-4. She can kind of move around the stage a lot quicker than other characters. So if you're just going all out with teleports with Martian Manhunter, if you do a random overhead teleport at the wrong time, she ends up teleporting. You're gonna whiff, and then she'll full combo punish you. When she has her trade up, I know players like Doug, when they knock you down, they like to go into trade and then start spamming the shit out of that. What is that move called? Where she tilts the one up and then has super armor.
Yeah,
That
no,
move will
it's
knock
called.
that move will knock Martian Manhunter out of his teleport every time. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh well, when she goes into that stance, just teleport in, bro. Well, it's not really gonna work in this case because so you got to kind of wait and respect that. But aside from that, I mean, it's not too bad. Maybe it could become worse. I just feel like it's a pretty simple 6-4 matchup. Flash is probably the only character I feel that will always remain 5-5 with Martian Man, regardless of the stage or whatever, because I feel he gets Martian Manhunter to fight up close more than any other character. Most of the match is spent either up close or outside sweep distance.
Do you
And
think he could? Do you think he could potentially beat Martian Manhunter in
no,
the future?
no. The reason I feel that is the only reason that's keeping. Here's the main thing: the meter management with orbs coupled with the trait management is why I think Flash will never have the advantage in this match. That, along with some other few tricks I came up with the matchup, that just it really irritates Flash players. They can't, even if they get up close, if you get to land one hit on them, well, not even one hit. If they block any one move, they have to get in again and again and again. I'm just gonna say Martian Manhunter has some tools that other characters wish they had in this game to deal with the character.
But look, Zod zoning is better than Martian Manhunters. So if Zod goes even with the Flash, I'm pretty sure people will agree. Then how come Martian Manhunter can do the same, even though his zoning is worse?
Because they're completely different. Martian Manhunter doesn't fight Flash by zoning him to death. I mean, I don't know what the strategy is with Zod, but that's not how you.
But just to keep him
If
away.
you're gonna play against Flash, if your whole objective is to zone him with pillars and orbs and overhead sky projectiles, you're gonna lose the match. That's not how you fight him.
Okay.
You have to play a full footsie game. You have to go punch for him. That's how the match is. You have to be very good with abusing meterborne orb and trait management.
Okay.
That's what makes the match 5-5. If you don't have all that down, then I could see why Flash could easily overwhelm you. But yeah, Flash is one of the characters that pretty much rapes all the autopilot Martian Manhunters because you can't play freestyle with Martian Manhunter against Flash. You have to actually know how to play the match. He's pretty much one of the very few characters that causes Martian Manhunter to play like that.
All right.
That's why
I
I
can see.
feel he loses, but it's not.
Okay.
It's a 5-5. Hawkgirl I have as 7-3. She can't really do crap from full screen or mid screen, and her whole I'm gonna do all these mace charges to get you to do it doesn't matter because Martian Manhunter can jump around, uses mobility. Every time she whiffs her mace charge, she can just do the teleport and full combo her to the point where she's barely gonna be even wanting to use the move just for the fear of it whiffing. And then once you have her trying to rely on her rush down with the use of her delayed Ring of Evade 3 and all that, it's not enough. That's just what it comes down to.
Well, I mean, she's a known character. Like, if she can't lame you out with with flight, she probably loses the match. I mean, she's also pretty one-dimensional character. You know what
And
I
on
mean?
top of that, Martian Manhunter just has an easy time building meter against her. It's a pretty bad match. I have it as 7-3. Shazam I have as 6-4, but on a few stages it could be 5-5. The reason I say 5-5 on some stages is because Shazam is one of the few characters in this game that does not have to deal with a plethora of interactables being thrown at him due to proper use of his teleport. He's also extremely dangerous on certain stages, such as the Mascara, where he has easy 100% combo setups that are highly practical. Things like that just make Shazam very dangerous. And when you're playing against a character like that, you want to be cautious, but against Shazam, you don't want to be cautious because then he's just going crazy with torpedoes, grabs. His post-knockdown game is really good. But overall, I feel Martian Manhunter has the advantage. Just on certain stages, it could be 5-5. Green Lantern I have a 6-4. Green Lantern's probably one of the only characters in the game that doesn't have to deal with Martian Manhunter's beginning of the round, trait 3 abuse or instant round overhead teleport, because when the match starts, he has to block a back 1. Just because of the range on his back 1 and...
So there's nothing that even Martian Manhunter can do about it.
You just block, but it doesn't matter because once you block the back 1-3, and if he even ends with machine gun, then you just trade 3, and then he's back to square 1.
All right.
How do you?
It's pretty easy to zone him also.
How many? Zone Green Lantern?
Yeah, it's easy to build meter and keep him away from you. He's only a threat once he gets in.
How many frames is Standing 310?
I think it's 10 or 11.
Okay.
But if you do trait into 3, I know you have to flank it, so at the fastest it'll be is probably 12 frames.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I feel that match is pretty simple. Just keep Green Lantern out. He has to spend half of the time getting in. He can't build meter. You're building meter. It's a simple 6-4 matchup. Batgirl I have is 5-5. They both don't want to go crazy on each other because if Martian Manhunter just teleports, she just teleports. She'll actually grab him all the way up in the air, and then she'll get a full combo. The way you play this match is pretty different. Sort of like Flash, but not really because they're very different. But you have to use a lot of orbs and careful use of pillars, teleports here and there, but you don't rely on that solely, like you do in a majority of his matchups.
Because she can't really react to pillars with a teleport, right? Because it's coming from the ground.
She has to Rambo, and if she does that, she's dead. But
okay.
I mean, they just both have to respect each other, and they both can build meter in the match. I don't know. I feel like it's a 5-5. Lobo, I have a 6-4. Lobo has no problem getting in. Again, this is another match where Martian Manhunter is probably going to spend more of the time playing mid-screen and up close than he is from full screen. But what Lobo has is not enough to have the match as even. Martian Manhunter has proper use of trait and orbs, give him easy time to build meter. Lobo has very difficult time building any meter. And also with the fact, if you consider Martian Manhunter's excellent wake-up game, it also shuts a lot of Lobo's tools down because the push is just really hard to deal with in wake-up. It stuffs his, what is that move called? Party Crasher? The instant overhead move.
Oh, the space charge.
No, it's the jumping attack.
Oh, he's talking about the jumping thing where he dives down.
Whatever it's called. Yeah, it's called Party Crasher, I think. But anyway, that move gets beat up by that. He pretty much needs meter to go punch for punch with Martian Manhunter. Otherwise, if you're using the regular space hook and stuff, you get full combo punch with trait 2 too, and such. So. I mean, it's not that bad. It's probably one of the soft 6-4s. Then I have Joker at 7-3. Joker just has so much trouble trying to get in. He has crappy movement. His gunshot isn't even worth using half the time. His post overhead teleport game is whatever, because if you block a crowbar, you're pretty much half screen again. It's just really easy for Martian Manhunter to keep him out. In the corner, it's so easy to trick Joker into trying to come in, run into something like an orb, or do something like, just come in and bum rush him and reverse the position. It's just pretty much the whole match is like a game of cat and mouse. So Joker's constantly on the move on Martian. Only time Joker has a chance is when he knocks him down. Then it's really good for him because he has a lot of things to negate wake ups. But aside from that,
but it's difficult for him to knock you down in the first place, right? Because he
yeah,
has to work very
exactly.
hard.
It's really hard for him to move him or anything. Harley, I have a 6-4. She loses the chip and zoning war with Martian Manhunter. You're able to trade pillars between gunshots, and Martian Manhunter will win the damage trade, and the chip trade. Martian Manhunter is also tough on a wake-up game with orb setups because he's one of the few characters that also punishes her cartwheel, and he full combos it on block with 4-1-2-3, meterless for like 30%. And the match is just Harley trying to stay back, try to get in, play more of that mid-screen game, which mid-screen Martian Manhunter dominates. So it's 6-4. I have it for him. Grundy, I have 5-5, but it's 6-4 in a few stages. May even become 6-4 in the future. I feel now the main thing in this match is you don't really zone Grundy. You just kind of play mid-screen and play with his walking corpse game. Martian Manhunter has a lot of things he can do on reaction to make walking corpse whiff even, and they will also double in taking care of his option to cancel it. So let's say Grundy will come and do walking corpse. I could do something like a back 3 on reaction. I don't have to armor it, just regular. It'll be throw immune, and it'll pop up Grundy. And if he goes to cancel, it won't matter because he'll still get hit in the face by back 3 unless he has to block. And once he blocks, you just get to move away or dash away or whatever. So Grundy has a really hard time trying to catch Martian Manhunter. Zod,
Is 3 also that you can't throw that either, right? I suppose.
Yeah, you can't. There's a lot of things you can't throw. He has a ton of moves you can't throw.
All right.
It's almost ridiculous. But Zod, we already went down him pretty much. I have it as 7-3 right now, but I could see it becoming 6-4 in the future.
Okay, I hope so.
Lex, I have 5-5, but on some stages it's 6-4 because Lex does not do well with interactables. He's a huge moving target that is easy to hit. Aside from that, this is one of the matches where Martian Manhunter wants to zone a lot and play mid-screen. Keep him away. You have to make sure he doesn't get to abuse his trait too much. And aside from all that, I feel it's a 5-5, but on a lot of like I said, on a lot of matches with interactables, it's 6-4. I feel. Catwoman I have as 5-5, but on some stages 6-4. This is one of the few matchups where Martian Manhunter actually does not want to rely on zoning, but rather pure spacing and going punch for punch with her. And one of the main reasons due to that is because Meterburn Cat Dash must be respected even if she is knocked down from full screen away. If you do something like knock Catwoman full screen away with push, and then you go to like throw overhead sky projectiles or pillars, if she wakes up with Cat Dash, you're eating a full combo. So you have to kind of just play more of a footsie game with her. She can usually get in when she wants with well-spaced jump 2s. She's going to start abusing that once your trait is off. But then again, this is one of the matchups where, like I said, you're going to need to have trait management coupled with meter management for the use of meterburn orbs. Because when your trait is on cooldown, you just pop up some meterburn orbs on the screen and you'll have your trait back. You just switch between it. I feel like it's better to fight her outside sweep distance than it is to try and zone her. By throwing a shot on the screen, his risk reward just isn't worth it.
Did you try punishing full screen meterburn cat dash with 4-1 at all? I wonder if that works. Doesn't work.
It's like -4 or 3.
Okay.
Anyway, I have Deathstroke as 6-4 Martian Manhunter. Since you played matchup a lot, you want to go into detail why you feel it's bad?
Honestly, we haven't really played in that matchup a lot. It just seems like, I don't want to go into,
I played you. I played J360 recently. I played some.
I know, but I don't want to go into the user shenanigans. I think if his zoning were better, Deathstroke's like it used to be, he would actually go even with Martian Manhunter. But the thing is, I think like every time you do low gunshots, while Martian Manhunter can't punish it, he can get a free check.
Actually, he can punish it.
I know, but it's like a just frame. So while he can't, punish unless you do a just frame, he gets a free check. It may not even
be a just frame. It may be like a 2-frame window.
Yeah, I know. The same thing with Aquaman from the deep. But the point is, you block a low gunshot or any, you just crouch any gun. You can just do a free, alien pillar, and Deathstroke has to block it. An alien pillar actually does more chip than than a regular gunshot. So that actually hurts a lot. So that means when you have the light lead, you don't even have to approach Deathstroke. So even though his guns are very fast, you can't really react to them with a teleport. You still don't have to rush. You still don't have to rush. You can keep the life lead. You can just sit back. I think that's huge.
I agree.
And so I think if it wasn't for that, though, I think Deathstroke would do very well because he can punish overhead teleport with the spin. So he's got some really good tools, but just the usual stuff. His nerve zoning really hurts him so much. So I think that's the reason he loses.
I mean, it's nothing too bad. It's 6'4". Scorpion I have is 6'4" as well because
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter punishes meter burn teleport heavily with down one low grab for 40%. He also really abuses Scorpion's wake up game badly. He punishes flip kick with down one into low grab 40%. Scorpion's just stuck blocking most of the time. And on top of that, when Scorpion gets anything going, it's a lot of risk. So, but I mean, the thing Scorpion can do is he could teleport and move around the screen and just play his game.
Yeah.
His fast game that'll make Martian Manhunter whiff a lot on overhead teleport. I have it at 6'4" right now. It may change in the future, but I wouldn't say for the better. Maybe but probably end up being for the worse. Ares I have is 7'3". He can't really play his traditional game of doing much of anything because Martian Manhunter dictates the whole game. He can jump around like crazy on the character. He can spam overhead teleport. His post-patch teleport game is horrendous. He has option selects on his wake ups that just
he can reach with that long range move. I got what it is. That won't
Back
reach.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
but
you
I
try
mean
that?
that doesn't really do anything. And you
True,
could just
true.
backdash that.
Yeah. Okay. Then never mind then.
I mean, if I block a back 1-3, what's he gonna do? Back one low sword me? I mean, okay, waste your sword. I don't care.
I mean, Ares are pretty. He's a character who obviously lags. His movement is is atrocious. So
Yeah, on top of that, he can't really throw any projectiles. His projectiles are so slow.
yeah, you
You
can
can
just
literally react to them. So
yeah.
7'3" for that character. Killer Frost I have as 5'5", but could be 6'4", and then on some stages definitely 6'4". Because it's really hard for her to slide in on Martian Manhunter. He's always in the freaking air. He has all these moves that give him these weird positions where he's airborne sometimes. Like I know 4-2 will clean out, beat the slide every time if you do it. Let's say you're anticipating a slide on wake up, you just dash up 4-2, it'll just beat it. Or you can do option selects like 3 into low scoop, and that'll punish her slide on wake up. Just he has a ton of stuff in his. Beater burn orbs keep her out too. It's just I don't know. I have it 5-5 on maybe match stages like Batcave, but overall I feel like it's a 6'4". Some stages it definitely is because of the interactables.
Pig just wants. Can you invite Tom? I think
Yeah. I'll invite Tom.
Go ahead, Andrew. Just keep talking. So we got. So you think Killer Frost is?
Yeah,
She's probably
6'4".
She's very similar to probably to Batgirl, right? The match.
I would say Batgirl has a better chance. than
Okay.
Killer Frost.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Right now I have Doomsday as 5'5". The thing about this is Pig told me about something I didn't know about before. He told me I could stuff shoulder on wake up, which I had no clue to before. And that's when the matches were up, when people saw me play against Newbie. I had no idea that Doomsday has such a crappy wake up game. If I had known that before,
Whammy.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, because I've saw some posts and threads saying, "Oh well, Rio got beat by Newbie 10-9." Well, first of all, we didn't play a first to 10 set. I don't know where this imaginary first to 10 came from. We played a first to 20, won 2016. Not that it means anything, but after I had this information that Pig delivered to me, I ended up playing Newbie again recently, and the score was 14-6 with Martian Manhunter against Doomsday, and that's most of that change in numbers came from me abusing his wake up. He can't get up. I would just do down one to low grab, and he would get full combo for doing shoulder. Then he'd have to rely on the up shoulder, and I don't care about that 10%.
Yeah.
Do that. If I block that once, you're dead. So I don't know. I feel like
can't you punish up shoulder?
yeah, I can.
Yeah,
I can just do 4-1-3 full combo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's all like he has so much risk for no reward.
Yeah. So
I
you
mean,
think it could be a 6-4 in the future? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're implying?
Yeah, definitely could end up being, because it's like this. I feel like Doomsday, his pressure is not enough. Like, I mean, blocking Doomsday's pressure it pretty much works like this. You pull out trait, you do whatever the hell you want to Doomsday, go crazy with orbs, this and that, and then your trait wears off, and now Doomsday comes in with his slow rush down, which, while I'm blocking, I just feel like I'm biding time for Martian Manhunter's trait to come up. And then once you block a chop, you just trait 3, and Doomsday can't do anything because you're pushed out of range. It's just rinse and repeat. I really wouldn't be surprised if this match ends up becoming 6-4 in the future for Martian Manhunter, the way things are going. Sinestro I have is 7-3. This match is... pretty much many Sinestro players have covered it already. He can't really zone due to the threat of overhead teleport. When Sinestro can't zone or do much of anything, it's a lost cause because he's not going to be able to build his trait. I've actually rarely seen Sinestro even get his trait out in this match. Just for the fact...
Well, it's just very difficult because, even... You have, if he's trying to charge trade, you always have the option to pillar, right? So it's very, very...
Not even that. I could just spam teleport most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just saying, you have
While
so many
I'm doing that, I'm
options.
building meter at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you just have... But, I mean, that matchup is just, it's just bad. I think the only way Sinestro can win is if he catches you in a vortex. That's the only way, honestly, right?
Yeah, I would say so. He would have to get Slot, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I have it at 7-3. Maybe worse on some stages, depending on the interactables.
Yeah.
Black Adam I have as 5-5, but on some stages 6-4. I feel like he's one of the few characters that can actually contest with Martian Manhunter during his trait or during zoning due to the meter burn dive kick. He also is one of the few characters who has the easiest time forward dashing over a teleport. Just let's say he happens to just move at the right time and I ended up dashing forward, or he could read and make a movement to make it whiff. His damage output also keeps the match from being a flat-out 6-4. But in certain stages where you can knock Black Adam a lot and you can do things after knockdown into a lot of interactable setups, he loses a lot of damage that way. Because he rarely gets to use interactables on Martian Manhunter, but on the flip side, I get to use as many interactables on him. So it's 5-5 in a few stages, on a lot with interactables, 6-4. Bane I have is 5-5. Some stages it's 6-4. This match, it's hard for Bane to catch Martian Manhunter because of his movement and his mobility. He's often jumping back, trading, jump back, trait 3, things like that. Meter burn orbs do a good job stopping Bane's Rambo juice and dash in, which a lot of Bane players like to do for some reason. And then once you start throwing orbs in front of you, and then they're like, okay, I'm just going to juice up and do a random Bane charge, you could just jump over it, and no matter where Bane ends up on the screen, you get a full combo punish with overhead teleport, which leads into 40% damage. And that's why I feel like the match is 6-4 on a lot of stages with interactables, because Bane has to get moving. He does not want you to, set up camp and base and then start throwing shit everywhere. But I could see why it's 5-5 on some stages, which don't have many things like Batcave, because if Bane does catch you and knock you down, you're probably not going to get up until juice runs out, and he's going to take a ton of damage.
So from what I gather here, it seems to me like if he has any issues,
that was all the matches, by the way.
Yeah, if he has any issues, it mostly seems against rushdown characters. Is that correct? Like that's what I'm.
I mean, I wouldn't say issues. I would say
not issues, but that seems to be
actually
like
played a character.
Yeah, you actually have to do more than spam teleport. And
okay, so yeah, but hold on, because I just went through the whole matchup. So by going through all these matchups, right now I have 18 advantage matchups, and with another 9 potential bad matchups on certain stages for the characters I said, or in a possible future, which some would change, which would make it a total of 27 advantage matchups, possibly. And then you have 11 even matchups. But then again, if you factor in the non-potential bad matchups I mentioned earlier, it would bring this down to a potential of 3 even matchups for the future. And who are those 3 characters you asked that I think will always be even with Martian Manhunter? I would say Flash, Batgirl, and Batman.
Okay, I think that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, for the. Go ahead.
I have 2 questions. 2 things. One for Bane. One, I was playing Max Intensity last night, and just in playing Killer Instinct, I'm a little more aggressive in this game, and I naturally found myself going punch for punch with Bane, as opposed to running away from him. And I felt like that. Well, I think it still keeps the match even for Aquaman. I think it's a more effective way than just running away from Bane, letting him do whatever he wants. Do you think Martian Manhunter, and it's also a lot more fun to do that than run away all day. Do you think Martian Manhunter should also be able to go punch for punch? I find that when I'm running away from Bane, I'm just delaying the inevitable, and I'm giving him more options. While going punch for punch with him, he's definitely going to have to use juice. And Max certainly, last night I was playing him, caught me in several times, knockdowns, setups, whatever it may be. But I feel like when you don't go punch for punch with him, that you're allowing him to get away with more than he probably should be. I feel like you have to fight Bane in a way that he always has to have juice or he dies. The second you allow him, you give him more options than that. Now, do you think Martian Manhunter could be a little more aggressive on Bane? And if it is possible, would that shift the matchup to his favor? Simply because when Bane juices down, Manhunter can be extremely aggressive with his trait, and Bane can't really do too much to get away because he has to worry about the teleport.
Well, I feel like it's pretty much different because with Aquaman, you don't have the kind of mobility Martian Manhunter has. Like, you don't have the air dashes, you don't have the teleports, you don't have orbs to set up your plans, you don't have interactables that you can abuse easily. That's why with Martian Manhunter, I like to run away and abuse as much shit on the screen, build a meter, have him come to me on my terms, and then deal with the fact that, yes, I will end up going punch for punch with you at certain times, but just know that I'm dictating the match. I'm letting you use your Venom to get in, and on that term, you have to deal with it draining while you're trying to keep me in. I don't know, I just feel like the runaway strategy with the orbs in front of him and then forcing him to use his Venom and run in is really good.
Let me ask you this: when Martian is fighting Bane and Bane is powered down and he's off his juice from level 3, and he has that longer cooldown period, is it possible you can say Martian Man? How difficult is it for Bane to stay away from Martian Manhunter when he's powered down?
When he's powered down, he's going to be taking a lot of chip because I will be spamming those pillars and go tomorrow. He's taking like 3% chip, and I'm building meter like crazy. That's just what I'm constantly doing. He has to sit there and take it, or he can try moving around, and I may just randomly do an overhead teleport. Whammy.
Now, how much damage is he going to lose? If he's a level 3 debuff, how much damage?
How long does level 3 debuff last for 7 seconds?
Yeah. Let's say he gets hit early on.
Okay, he does. Okay. By an overhead teleport?
Yeah.
He'd probably lose around 60, and then he'd have to deal with the Oki game afterwards, which I could just do an orb, come in, block, and then not care.
Yeah.
Or I could actually come in, do down one into downward teleport, and if he goes for a stupid up attack, his uppercut, it'll option select and do a downward teleport that'll whiff punish him. And if he chooses to block, he'll just block it and he can't punish me. So I mean, Martian Manhunter's a lot. I mean, I wouldn't like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if this match ends up being in his favor in the future.
I want to hear your thoughts. I wasn't here when I heard your thoughts on the Aquaman match, and here's why. Because everyone always says, Tom, you fight well, that match well. Every Manhunter I fought well so far, not at your level, but I fought Jupiter at one tournament, which was very close, came into the last hit, which came down to a correct guess in the post overhead teleport guessing game, but it was a very close set. And I find that Aquaman basically has this set.
Tom, you're breaking up a lot.
There.
Yeah, Tom,
your mic is
and let Manhunter dictate and basically force Manhunter to teleport and then try to guess right in the teleport guessing. Hold on. I don't know why.
Like how you kept talking.
That was better, worse. Hold on. Hold on, is it better or?
For now, yeah.
Yeah, for now. Hey Rio, let me ask you something. Who would you say player-wise, despite matchups, are the top 3 or maybe top 5 players out there that are fighting the Martian Manhunter matchup the best?
I would say you're one of them, just because you have the movement down better than anyone else. Against like, you're good at playing with Martian Manhunter's pace, but then being able to be like, no, bitch, I'm gonna move now because I feel like. So
Yeah.
you have that. I feel Forever King's another one that just plays very well in the matchup. And then I'd have to say, I don't know, everyone else just feels like it's kind of hard to judge how people play because the character's just so overwhelming and he has you dictate the match.
Well, what about
Most of the
Revolver?
times I just feel like I'm playing against a punching bag. Like I'm just beating them up and waiting for them to throw blows back.
Well, what about Revolver?
I'll say Roar's another one, but
How's my?
a lot of things are character specific though. Like I know
How's
Forever
my
King moves a lot,
now?
but it's with Batman and the things Revolver does as far as getting stuff going on Martian Manhunter is because what Lex can allow him to do.
Mhm.
You know, it's just a lot of things come down to character specific things. Like you can't be like, oh well, this character can dash better than this guy, or rather, this player can dash better than that player.
Yeah. Wait, can you talk more about the Batman matchup? I mean, I assume King uses Batman against your Martian.
Yeah,
How much do bats help in that matchup?
tremendously. Without
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, the fact that Batman has a tool like bats, it's one of the only things in the game that can keep Martian Manhunter honest when he has trait active. Because when Martian Manhunter is trait active, 90% of the cast can't do anything about it. They just have to sit there and deal with Martian Manhunter throwing out these normals and doing whatever he wants. Batman, however, if Batman's gonna be like, oh, this bitch is trying to trade and spam 3, I'll release these bats, dash in full combo, you bitch. Respect me. Batman
Yeah.
just has access to that kind of power. And Batman, like I said, Batman also has things that he can abuse on Martian Manhunter's wake up. Like for example, he knocks Martian Manhunter down, he'll jump in, Martian Manhunter will wake up with his infamous psychic push. He'll just do a double jump into the dive kick, full combo with you, and then next time Martian Manhunter gets knocked down, he's like, okay, shit, he may go for that. Let me just block. Then Batman's like jump two, string, bats, you know.
Hmm.
I would say Batman, like I said, I feel Batman's 5-5 with Martian Manhunter. He has a lot of things that he keeps Martian Manhunter from being too autopilot. Yes, Martian Manhunter. I feel like Martian Manhunter has to actually play the match. You have to know what you're doing for this matchup.
Gotcha.
Well,
Do
what
bats-
about Go ahead.
my
Pig.
mic-
I was going to say, just real quick.
Yeah, your mic's better.
Do bats punish
Okay.
the teleport at all?
No, because the travel time takes too long. But if I do anything like try and backdash, jump, down one, I'm gonna get hit by a bat. So when Batman has bats out and I do an overhead teleport, it's safe to say I'm gonna sit there and block, and not try and risk anything because he may release those bats. I don't know when he's gonna release them.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, I'm testing it right now. Batman's forward dash is really clean.
Yeah, he also has a good forward dash too. But I mean, it's Batman.
Yeah.
He's just a solid character.
Yeah, I don't even take that risk. Aquaman's dash gets hit sometimes. But like I said, even though I seem to fight it well, and everyone says, "Oh, it might be 5-5."
You want me to run down what I had
It's-
earlier for Aquaman? I mean, well, what I
Yeah,
said
run it
earlier.
down.
Okay, well, Aquaman I
Yeah,
had
because I think it's
I had it as
potentially
5-5 originally, but lately I changed it to 6-4 just because I've been doing a lot of research on the match, and I feel like Martian Manhunter completely dictates this match from the second the match begins. It's so much easier for Martian Manhunter to get
he
the
does
life
dictate.
lead on Aquaman than it is for him. Once Martian Manhunter has the life lead, it's big trouble for Aquaman because he can't sit full screen and be content with spamming tridents because Martian Manhunter can block tridents and reversal check him with pillars, and then he'll just end up building more meter and winning in the chip trade. And when Aquaman has to come in, it's hard because Martian Manhunter I feel like with Aquaman's toolset and his movement and everything, it's just difficult for him to get in or to open up Martian Manhunter because things like Trade 3, Orbs, Pillars, it's like an obstacle course for Aquaman to maneuver around. And God forbid Aquaman gets hit, which he will end up being hit or opened up. His trait doesn't matter because almost everything.
It's a single hit launcher.
Yeah, everything Martian Manhunter does is single hit launcher.
And his Punisher is
So-
a Martian grab, which is a
Exactly.
single hit launcher.
Exactly. So you could just toss it straight out the window.
What
And
I do in that
also-
match is
Yeah, and also Martian Manhunter is. I know Aquaman in a lot of his matchups. He needs to focus on doing that spacing with jump too, where characters can anti-air. Martian Manhunter is probably one of the few characters, if not the only one, who can actually anti-air Aquaman's jumping 2 with just trait 3 and trait back 2. And on top of all this, when Martian Manhunter ends up knocking down Aquaman, he abuses his knockdown heavily with the orb block options. Like, he could put an orb out, come in. If Aquaman even tries to do anything on Wake Up, he could block, full combo you. I know if you do Trident Rush, it's full combo with trait 2 too, or trait Martial Grab. He can do things like put an orb, instant air dash in. You're just forced to block. It's just, I feel like the match is pretty messed up. I have it as 6-4.
Which is why I told Plane to win, because he was telling me you can do Trident Rush whenever you block a teleport and you can't move. But I was like, but then he's going to punish me with a full combo. So I can't Trident Rush. What I do against Manhunter is it's extremely risky. I basically Trident the shit out of him. So if he puts an orb out, I hit him. I get 20%. I check him every time he does. I blast. I basically try to initially, of course I could guess wrong in this position and I'm dead, but I try to initially force the game to the meta game off of a blocked up teleport. And if you guess right, you get a knockdown, 40% plus a knockdown. Then he has to get up, which he can't get up. If he uses armor, your back 2 scoop will beat his armor. But if he blocks that and you're wrong, then you're dead. So I feel like it's a 50-50 that on paper you would think could be even, but in reality, the fact that Martian Manhunter dictates it and Aquaman can't afford to be wrong, it definitely, I would say, put it in Martian Manhunter's favor.
Yeah, that's exactly
because he
how
does
I feel.
dictate. I'm
He
the one
dictates
sitting.
way too much.
Yeah, I'm the one sitting across the screen trying to force him to do an overhead teleport, and even still, he dictates right there. He's dictating how I have to play.
You also can't afford
so,
to lose life, because if he gets up on life, he's not the one that has to do anything now. Now you're the one that's come to him and take risk.
Exactly, which is very difficult to do because his mobility is too good. And as far as that, the obstacle course as well. I mean, Aquaman can kind of get some life with the obstacle or
Your mic's messing up.
tridenting when he does
Yeah, Tom, you're breaking up again.
orbs, catching him trying to go for a teleport.
Time you need to sit a few plays out.
I know it. I got this.
Anyway, I want to know, because
got
I was browsing the forum earlier with my phone, and why hasn't Boom Brad not updated those horrendous Marshmallow numbers in his living chart? I posted my thread, which people told me to make a thread about my matchups, actually, you guys, it's better for you guys to go using this, what I said in this podcast, better than the thread, because it's difficult for me to update things using my phone, and it's going to take me like hours just to update everything I said today into the thread. So that matchup thread I made like a week ago is outdated from the information today. But I just want to know when are these Marshmallow numbers going to be put into that living chart thread?
Well, it's up to Brad. He's the one who's updating the thing, you know.
Okay.
I'm putting that question.
Brad,
I'm putting that question in the thread right now.
Yeah, I mean, I also I don't see how he thinks Doomsday beats Martian Manhunter. I mean, some of his reasons for why Doomsday runs train, as he puts it, on Martian Manhunter are just absurd. I know he gets his Martian Manhunter experience from Chef, but I mean, come on, Chef is not a Martian Manhunter main. He uses him along with 5 other characters.
I think that's the problem
I
right
mean,
there.
I'm trying to look. If you look at it this, if Martian Manhunter can hold his own against some of the best offensive juggernauts in this game, such as Flash, Batman, Bane, etc., who might add are also always coated in armor like freaking Lex, what makes you think Martian Manhunter can't stand his ground against someone like Doomsday? What is that Doomsday has that's so different? Martian Manhunter has Ancestor's trait. He can go punch for punch up close to Doomsday. He dominates him on Wake Up. I mean, his meter burn shoulder is all right, but it's nothing like Flash's meter burn headbutt or Catwoman's meter burn cat dash. Why does this dude think that, no, it's Doomsday wins, that's it, final order?
I think
Because he played Chef.
I think the problem is a lot of people don't play very good Martian Manhunter players. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
They base their, for example, Rebello. He's a very good player, but he's not a Martian Manhunter main. You know what I mean?
I mean, shit, dude. When I was playing newbie at first, I was getting beat 10-0 left and right. That was
Yeah,
around
yeah.
Summer Jam time. But like I said, now it's completely different. Like I know I mentioned it earlier, but when Pig told me about that wake up flaw Doomsday had, which I had no idea about prior to that set we played that was recorded and posted on the front page of TYM. When I played him again, I beat him pretty bad. It was like 14-6, Martian Manhunter versus Doomsday. He just couldn't. He was just losing everything in terms of risk reward. He just couldn't get off the ground without losing a ton of life. He was losing punch for punch. He was losing damage everywhere. Like, I mean, like I said earlier, I feel like the match may end up being in Martian Manhunter's favor.
Yeah, Doomsday players they always talk about when he has meter, you can't play the game. They don't realize when Doomsday uses his meter and doesn't get life, he's done.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
Exactly.
Doomsday,
I
he
had
can't
no
play the
idea
game
how bad
either.
his wake up was before that. I had no idea you were able to
Yeah.
just go up and stuff everything, and he has to do that super risky up shoulder, which does like 10%.
Yeah, like with Aquaman, what I started doing when Pig told me that is I just time a back 1-2 if I knock him down. Because newbie's whole thing is, if you try it and I'll shoulder you. And I don't give a fuck about the shoulder anyway. But now I can just back 1-2. He can't do anything at all. Can't even get up. He just has to. I feel like when Doomsday is not made to get knocked down and be stuck there guessing for eternity. That's not what he's made for. If you can mount an offense on Doomsday, the character shouldn't be on the screen.
Well,
And I feel like Doomsday also has a hard time opening up. Like I said earlier, when I was running down the Doomsday matchup, I feel like when Doomsday, like after my trait is over and it's regenerating, I feel like okay, I'll just block Doomsday's slow rush down because he'll do strings that take he'll do 3-second long strings that end in chop, and after you block like a few things, I'll have trait back, and then once I block a chop, I just pop out trait, and then he's back to square one. He just can't move when I have trait out.
Yeah.
well, I liked your defense a lot. The way you were blocking the Earthshakers, you were blocking it actually pretty consistently.
It's
But
not
people
hard
were
to
saying,
block.
I know, but people were saying like 60 was saying, oh, you will never be able to block it. Dude, Rio is doing it. What do you mean you
I
won't
was
be able
doing it
to block
online. I'll find it. It's like
Yeah.
10 times easier.
Yeah, the thing about Doomsday is a character. I always find like Doomsday players are the kings of, you get 3 games today, 5 games next month. Next year I'll give you 10. Doomsday is one of those characters where you don't understand his problems until you literally play somebody 100, 200 games.
Yeah.
Because Doomsday is meant to be the overwhelming character. Oh, I'll beat him in Doomsday's mix-ups aren't breaking anybody down. He could throw you 100 times. It doesn't matter. You're not killing anybody with throws.
Yeah, his damage is poor too.
So Doomsday, though, he seems really effective.
When I say
When-
damage, I mean things like whiff punishing with shoulder. Like I don't care about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, nobody cares exactly. Well, we look at that and say you wasted a bar of meter. Now you have no offense. The thing is, Doomsday though is meant to be that overwhelming character. You get knocked down, you're mashing buttons, you want to get up, and he takes advantage of that. When you fight Doomsday 100 times, 200 times, you're not overwhelmed anymore. Then all of a sudden, you're calm, you're thinking, you see what he's doing, you're blocking well. Then Doomsday has a problem because he can't open you up. You're not mashing. He's trying to jump over you and you just block it.
Yeah.
He can't get you to mash. He's reduced to throwing you.
All right, Tom,
Your mic is
terrible.
And that's the risk reward is not in his favor. What?
Dude, your mic is constantly dying.
Hold on.
Yeah, but what else do you want to say about the character?
I mean, I don't know. Like just running down the whole matchups and then saying potentially in the future this character may only go even with 3 characters, them being flashback on Batman. I mean, is that not insane?
Well, that is pretty insane. I think people have to listen
I mean,
to
there's
you.
so many people playing the freaking character right now, and it's only going to get more people are going to get on the character. I mean, more people are going to want to win. There's also, I know there's certain characters that are going to be like, they just don't like playing against the character. He's a bullshit character, and they're going to want to use him just to, because they want to win.
So maybe he is more like Cabal.
Well, the only reason he's not anything like Cabal is because he has 3 even matchups.
Yeah.
Well, actually, right now he doesn't have 3 even matchups today currently, because his even matchups right now are 11. But when I was going through the whole matchup chart, I went with stage advantage, or this character may end up in the future being an advantage, like the Doomsday matchup. If you factor in those 9 potential bad matchups, it'll bring it down to just having 3 even matchups, which
Yeah, yeah. I think the problem is, like I said, a lot of
I feel like he's the perfect tournament character. No, he's not like Cabal where, oh, don't care about my pool, don't have to worry about any even matchups or any characters that may be able to, go back and forth with me. Just bring on the pool brackets.
Yeah.
But he's definitely flat out ridiculous, and I cannot believe he got buffed last patch. I was about to drop him and move on before the patch came out because I was convinced that they weren't going to let him pass like that. So.
Well.
But I feel like Martian Manhunter right now is almost. He's pretty much the most used character right now, if you think about it.
Yeah, I
You have
into a
Rebello
shitload
in
of Martians.
Canada. You have PL using Martian Manhunter now. In the West Coast, you have people like Wonder Chef, MIT. I saw some other dude using Martian Manhunter on the top 8. I think it was also a Nightwing player. Then you have people like Lozlu from Pennsylvania, Pekapawa. You have Armakio from HDTV. Then you have people from Jersey like Hayes Jupiter. People in Chicago like Jeremiah. People in New York like myself, Crazy Dominican. Then you have people in Ohio like Forever King picking him up, and then also Dave. It's getting out. It's pretty obvious the character. There's no reason not to use Martian Manhunter if your sole purpose is to go to tournaments and try and win. Why not? He also makes such a perfect secondary character because he handles certain characters so easy. You don't have to have extensive knowledge with the character to win with.
Yep, I agree.
He's like the ultimate pocket character.
What was? I don't want to dig too much into this, but what was exactly said on the KTP about that character? Pig.
If you're asking me, I don't know.
It was a comment that said, it's the comment about if Martian Manhunter is so good, why is he not running train on everybody to all the tournaments? Like, where is he? Why haven't we been seeing him like at TFC and this and this and this and that?
Real wasn't there one too. TFC was still pre-patched. Characters like Superman were still better. Superman is not that same character anymore.
Well, I said week 1, I texted a few people and said, like week 1, I was messing around with the character as well. I said,
well, wait, what does that? I don't get the whole point. Why does a character have to do good in tournament for the character to be perceived as ridiculous or broken?
It is the absolute worst.
Like, okay, Martian Manhunter didn't win a major yet. Why does that not mean he's not that bad?
Exactly. It's the worst logic. It's the worst statement ever made in video games, like fighting games. It's just because if they're not doing well, it determines whether the character is good or not. Yeah, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm just sick of it. I heard that for such a long time.
If you look at MK9, you can make the case with Kenshi. Well, why was Kenshi considered number 2 when there were so many other characters having better results than Kenshi was?
Yeah, exactly.
Way below number 2.
Which is what myself and Pig were saying. Yeah.
That's what I always say. I'm just tired of saying because it makes me sound like I'm trying to give myself props or something.
Case with Cabal in MK9. Aside from me, with all the stuff I did with Cabal, like who made Cabal look like this S+ tier unbeatable character that 6'4'd everyone in the game? As a matter of fact, most of the people that played Cabal made him look a lot more beatable and fair.
Some Cabals lose to Ermax.
Actually, there were Cabals that were losing to characters like Sub-Zero, which I can't even imagine how.
Yeah.
What a dick.
I'm just saying. And then you had Cabals getting babied by characters like Cage. I don't understand. And then you had people using Cabal saying, well, he loses. I don't think Cabals are more in the game. He loses to characters like Katana, etc. And then you had people going like, well, I'm going to prove everyone Cabal's the best in the game, but I'm going to use Jax for this and here and there. Just, what are you guys doing? I don't know. That's just my take on the whole thing.
Yeah,
so
man,
because you don't have someone going out with Martian Manhunter right now, he's not that good. We're not saying he's going to dominate everything. I feel like tournaments and character play and how good a character is are two separate things. I feel like tournaments are more about player than character. They should be separated.
Let me ask you this question. Just to wrap up this Martian Manhunter episode. Are you going to NEC for sure?
Not 100% for sure. Like, I'm not guaranteed 100% to be there. Like, yes, there's nothing that could possibly stop me.
Okay. And if you go, who do you think? Okay. But if you go, who do you think are going to be your biggest challengers?
I would probably say Sonic Fox and Forever King. I feel like both of them have good chance of beating me,
Yeah.
and I feel like other players that are good with Flash, like Fox, could also have a chance of beating me. But other than people that use certain characters, I don't give a fuck. I play Martian Manhunter. I have nothing to worry about. That's just honestly how I feel. Why should I have to worry about anything? I play Martian Manhunter.
I mean, hey, I think definitely like the Flash. I can see, Batgirl. I can definitely see them giving you at least, not necessarily beating you, but giving you, a run for your money.
I can see Sonic Fox. I would actually agree with Forever King and Sonic Fox.
No, I agree too. So, Pig, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I want to send out a really I want to send out a non-Thanksgiving comment about Lexmark printers real quick, and then I'll wrap it up.
Okay.
I want everyone out there listening to this podcast to never support the company Lexmark. They make printers, fax machines, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
I bought my mom a printer fax, like a really awesome, badass printer fax combo for her business. This really top of the line fax from that company. Anyway, like I bought it last Christmas and it broke last week, and it basically just stopped printing. It'll print one document and then you have to restart the computer. And if you want it to print another document, it just like locks up the software and the hard drives and the driver. I'm sorry, the drivers to the printer lock up. They just freak out. Anyway, so I call Lexmark and I'm like, all right, give me some technical support. Help me with this. So they're like, let me log into your computer. And I was like, okay. So, I had them log into the computer to fix it. And they're like, yeah, we've identified the 3 problems, and this is a driver-related issue. So it means their driver issue.
Yeah.
We can fix your problem if you just want to sign up for our technical support plan, which is $80 to fix each individual problem, or you can pay $140 that covers the 3 problems. But we're having a special for the holiday season that will cover 4 problems for like $140, $130 or whatever. And my mouth was just open. I was like. I mean, I've got the little one sleeping in the next room, so I can't get loud. But the amount of wrath I was set on that person I was so pissed. I actually bought their product, and within 10 months, it breaks. And because of their driver-related issue, they're going to charge me $80 per issue to fix.
They offered you the special.
Yeah, and they offered me the special. Now here's the deal. I actually have the 2-year. $89 warranty backup system and the technical support services from Geek Squad. Let me tell you something. Geek Squad is the absolute best service I've ever dealt with. They now service my mother's computer, my laptop, my home computer, my Xbox One, and my wife's laptop. So they cover all 5 of those for $89 for 2 years. And I called them the next day. Well, just to cut it short, I told Lexmark guy, go fuck yourself. I'm not paying you or anyone. I said, that's such an insult. And I told him what I had with Geek Squad. I was like, honestly, I'm just too much of a lazy ass to go over to her place, pack up all this fucking computer and printer shit, hold it down to Geek Squad and say, fix it, when I should be able to call the fucking company whose fault it is for you guys just to fix it. You know what the problem is. You're just telling me you're charging me $80 to fix your problem. That's now my problem. And, so anyway, I called Geek Squad, and they logged into my mother's computer, the same thing, and they found the same problems, and they fixed it right then and there because I had a contract with them. And they fixed it within like 10 minutes. And then the guy was like, let me log into all these other computers in this household. And he just logged into all the other computers in this house and just fixed every one, tuned them up, fine-tuned everything. The guy was like the nicest thing in the world. So props to Geek Squad. Don't ever support Lexmark because they'll charge you to fix their problems.
And before we get off the show, let me give a come on, man, to test your might. A 6-character game doing more matchup chart discussions. Come on, man. Let KI in its 6 characters. Wait till there's 8 at least to start the fucking matchups. Come on, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Also, can we please have someone update that living chart with these Manhunter numbers that were mentioned in the podcast? Thank you.
Well, it's up to Brad. He can do it.
Well, not update, but can someone make a list and put them in the thread, actually?
Oh, okay.
I should have. wrote
Quick
all this down.
Quick question: is it just me, or is ever since TYM updated to the new look, has TYM been deader than dead?
What was the whole purpose of that? Was it for the phone? Because honestly, on my phone, when I was browsing TYM, it was better with the old layout. Now it's
too.
just I can't see certain things, and it just takes longer.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't know, but like it just seems like Injustice and TYM and it's just kind of dying. Did you guys kind of get the hint of any of that, or is it just maybe
Yeah,
there's no
I
tournament?
agree. You know, you can just notice because you can look at the posts and there's like sometimes like separation between 25 minutes. Sometimes like
I
an
told
even
you
and
what it is. I told you what it is. It's for some reason in MK9, everybody was playing that game strong. Online, didn't matter, you suck it up. In this game, you got to break out your black book and make an appointment to actually play the game. Otherwise, you just got to sign online and sit there for 2 hours and play nobody.
That is true. To get most of my matches, I have to like PM people and hit them up, and we have to arrange things. Like, okay, we'll play here, this date, at this time. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Meanwhile, when I can't get a game on Injustice, everyone's like, Tom, let's play KI. Tom, let's play KI. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can get games anytime. So you have a new console out where you can get games anytime and 6 characters to make new matchup charts for. So obviously that's what they're doing.
All right, before the next Kryptonite Council, I'm giving Microsoft and Killer Instinct a week to fix that issue.
You're talking about the connection issue?
But before I go balls to the wall into that issue, man, I'm giving it a week.
It's being worked on.
Okay, and just being worked on. Okay, so
I do want to say though, guys, get that Prima guide, because while you think my old 80% Unbreakable's gone, they got rid of that. Just not my 50% Unbreakable. Get that Prima guide, son. Get that Prima guide. I didn't update it yet with that, but I wanted to make sure that there was one Unbreakable that wasn't leaving before I updated it. And lo and behold, there is. I don't think it can be fixed. So.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Cool. All right. Well, that was the Martian Manhunter exclusive Kryptonite Council podcast episode.
Full gore.
See you guys.
Full gore.